Yo, what's going on, guys? Jay here, and today I got a 2024 rap album tier list for you. This has, I believe, 96 albums that I listened to all throughout the year 2024, coming out in that year, of course. Now, compared to my 2022 and 2023 tier list, you might know that this is light for me, the amount of albums I listen to in a year. Normally, it's over 100. We were just there. It's okay. Maybe we'll get them this year, but yeah, I just wanted to say I appreciate the support from you guys on all the recent content. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that stuff. It really means a lot to me, but let's get it going on this. All right, starting off, we got this was that EP that West Side Gun dropped last year, 11. This was good. This had Big Dumb Ballad, right? Let me check that real quick, because that is, like, honestly one of my favorite. Yeah, that's off 11. One of my favorite West Side Gun songs ever. It's just a little EP, though. It's like 4 tracks, but the quality of that track, I could put it in 7. Normally, I don't rank EPs amongst albums, but like it's fine here. We're just having fun with this one. We also got 11th Dimension by Ski Mask the Slump God. Now, I used to love Ski Mask when he came out back in the day, right? I was a real big fan of his. And, after Stokely's disappearance, it really hurt his career. I mean, this album, I enjoyed the effort. I enjoyed the attempts to modernize from Ski Mask, but I haven't even thought about this album since I made this tier list. I forgot it happened. There's nothing I come back to. It was really just underwhelming in my opinion, but, it pains me to say it. I know a lot of people do like that album, though. Now, surprisingly, 2093 by Yeet, this was actually a good album. Like, the whole, outer space, alien type aesthetic, future aesthetic, was really cohesive throughout this project. And I was really impressed by that when I listened to it now. This is not an album I revisit. I'm not really a fan of Yeet. I don't like, his whole style, the mumble rage rap. Not really my thing at all, right? But I gotta give respect, give credit where it's due, because when I listened to this, I was, pleasantly surprised. I was even impressed. Now, just because I don't return to it doesn't mean I can't say, hey, 2093, there was actually a lot of creativity going on. Even if the lyrics are shit, the production choices were good, the aesthetics were great, honestly. And I was overall just really impressed with that. So shout out to Yeet for that. 9 by Kenny Mason. Kenny Mason is another artist who's young, upcoming artist. He had a great first album, Angelic Hood Rat. The deluxe to that was good, but I've kind of been waiting for him to follow up on that great album. He hasn't released a super amazing, cohesive project on the level of Angelic Hood Rat at this point. Now, 9 has some fun tracks. It is Easy Dub with Baby Drill, and then 4 My with V's, I don't know. But I revisit those tracks a bunch. The rest of this album, I don't care a lot for. I'm a big fan of Kenny Mason, but he's been more of a singles artist for me recently in terms of what I'm enjoying from him. I know he has it in him to drop another amazing album, though. Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii. This is an easy 8. That's a layup. I mean, this was one of the best albums of last year, no doubt. Even though it's a mixtape, whatever. It's an amazing body of work. Very, concise. It's 17 tracks long, but nothing feels like filler, and you just get a great feel for the type of artist that Doechii is, from her great rapping, singing, good lyricism. We got an all-time banger like Nissan Altima in there, which is just hard punchlines, super spunky trap instrumental. Doechii's just showing you all the different bags she could get into with this. I know she is gonna have an amazing cohesive project coming out. I feel like this was kind of just like an appetizer, kind of introducing people to all the different stuff she could do. A Ballet Through Mud. This was an album, a orchestral album, directed by the RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan, and the actual instrumentation, the orchestra was I believe the Colorado Symphony, the Colorado something Symphony. I haven't listened to this album since it came out, but I'll tell you, I really enjoyed it. This is a good album to study to. It's just great orchestral music. I thought I would include it in here just to let people know that the RZA produced and orchestrated an album with the symphony. It's just a super cool thing that happened last year that I don't think a lot of people know about. American Dream by 21 Savage. This is one of my favorite 21 Savage albums, honestly. Like, he's just super consistent on his albums, on an album basis. I don't revisit this album as much as I thought I might at this point. I did listen to it a lot when it came out. But there's not a lot of bad tracks. There's a couple weaker songs. You, of course, got bangers on there like Red Rum, Sneaky, the song with Lil Durk, the song with Young Thug. You know, this was just a fun album. Yeah, 21 Savage really is a very solid discography in terms of trap music. All Is Yellow. This was a Lyrical Lemonade album. I love Cole Bennett. I've actually really loved him. Even looked up to him for a period, just for the type of innovative entrepreneur he is, the way he built his own brand. I think he's awesome. So I was really excited for this when I saw it. A lot of the tracks though just feel like mismatches of talents, to be honest. The couple songs that I do like, you had the one was with JID and Ski Mask. That was fun. And then you had First Night. That was a crazy track. It had Juicy J, Denzel Curry, Cochise, and that was just like a Juicy J styled banger. But yeah, a lot of the stuff on here just not really for me. Almighty So 2. This was one of the top trap albums of last year. Chief Keef really showed with it, and this is a great gym album, by the way. It's super hype. I mean, there's just energy is awesome. Chief Keef actually has some great and personal songwriting at points, even if it's not very complex. He is giving you some vulnerability and some stuff that's actually going on and has went on in his life, which is super innovative bangers. Like, the instrumentals across this thing, Chief Keef does most of his own production, and it shows you why back in 2012 he was really ahead of the curve in terms of setting the tone. And this is an album where, again, you're not going to hear a lot like it right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you're hearing a lot more stuff like this. The use of those rapping drums is just awesome, and this is a whole different vibe. Definitely recommend Almighty So 2. I really love that album. This White Album, oh, this is Atta Vista. This is 13, 15, 20, the redone version by Childish Gambino. So this is technically a 2020 album that Gambino just finished this year, or last year. I guess this is 2024. Kind of weird putting it on here because it did initially come out in 2020. I listened to it. I liked it. You know, I liked the album when it initially came out. You got some very cool aesthetics on there. 7 column is filling up. I feel like there might be a lot of 7s on here. This is, I believe, Across the Tracks by Boldy James and Nicholas Craven. This was a top, just a great lyrical performance from Boldy James. Great production from Nicholas Craven. You know, I love the two of them as a duo. Their music kind of getting stale to me. Just I don't listen to it a bunch anymore, but you still got to respect the pen game, respect the artistic integrity there. Now we got the Auditorium. I think it's Auditorium. Common and Pete Rock. This is Volume 1. This album I actually didn't listen to until this year, maybe a couple months ago. I gotta re-listen to it again, but I was thoroughly impressed. The production is awesome. Common is on the top of his game lyrically and rapping wise, and I really did enjoy this project. I would heavily recommend it if you haven't heard it before, and it's definitely, like I said, an album I'll be revisiting in the future. Then we got Bravado and Intimo by IDK. I don't know if I want to go 6 or 7 with this, because on the one hand, I feel like 7 is crowding up, but on the other hand, there are good tracks that I like on here. You got the singles, Tiffany with Gunna, which is a banger, and also Denim with Joey Badass, which, again, is a banger. Supernova, great singing performance. You get the track with Conway the Machine, as well as the deluxe to this album is awesome. I feel weird about this album, because I know it's supposed to be this deep concept album from IDK, and I don't know if it's going over my head. I don't know if I haven't spent enough time with it. And I like a lot of the songs here. I'm just not overtly impressed with. I don't think there's a whole lot of crazy narrative going on throughout it. Maybe past IDK albums You See for Yourself and Is He Real. This feels a little more all over the place. But maybe this is an album that I would enjoy more if I could listen to it again and get a better understanding of it. Bad Cameo by James Blake and Lil Yachty. This is another album like 11th Dimension. I completely forgot this even happened when I was researching albums from 2024. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this. I listened to it. I haven't thought about it since then. It was mid. Blue Lips. I have a review for this album. I also have a review for American Dream posted on this channel, so feel free to check those out if you want. Blue Lips, I'm going to spoil it for you. This is my album of the year. I mean, this was just fucking awesome. Again, go check out my review of if you want to see me talk about this album more at length. But so many songs are still in rotation from this album. It's genuinely just amazing. Q really brings a lot of different, production choices, aesthetics, different lyrical contents, rapping styles together, and he does it perfectly. Another album that I have a lengthy review for on this channel, Better Me Than You by Big Sean. This is top of mid. This is top of 5 because, like, again, I don't want to get too deep into it here. Go check out the review on my channel if you would like to see my full thoughts. They haven't changed much because there's some amazing moments from Sean here, as well as just some interesting choices that panned out poorly, like the songs with Kodak, like the song with Gunna I didn't like. I mean, there's just some weak cuts here, as well as, like, you got My Life, you got Together Forever with The Alchemist, some major highlights. But it all evens out at mid. Better Off Alone by A Boogie. I was really let down by this album. There was a couple singles going into this. I think Steppers. I like that track. Nothing I'm revisiting off here. You know, I like A Boogie, but he, again, kind of like Kenny Mason at this point. He's not someone I'm coming to for, like, amazing albums. I take my tracks and I go. Big Swerve. This was a G Herbo album. Came out last year. I mean, there was good tracks on here. Same type of thing. G Herbo, like, typically his album experiences to me are going to range between the, like, 7 and 5 range, maybe even 4. I'm going to take my tracks that I like. And, yeah, the one I revisit a lot from here is In the A with 21 Savage. I think that's a great track. Super good gym music, but not my favorite. Oh, boy. Now we got to talk about Bando Stone and the New World, the new Childish Gambino album that came out last year. That was actually new, not older music that was touched up. This album really let me down. I'm going to go in the 4 with it, like, because it's below mid. I mean, there was just really unappealing songs. Everything was really forgettable. I was really let down by Gambino on this project. But, you know, it happens. There was 1 or 2 songs that I maybe still have in rotation, like, would listen to them because I think they're good. Like, I think Steps Beach is one of them. I don't know. Just really let down by that album. The Bryson Tiller self-titled album. This was an awesome album. I'm willing to put that over here. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Bryson Tiller. You know, I know a lot of people love Trap Soul, really praise him up there. I'm not one of them because he just never resonated with me like that. But this might be my favorite project from him, to be honest, that I've heard at least. And there's just amazing tracks on here. You got, like, Calypso, you got Undertow, which are just, like, emotional, great singing performances. As well as you get the banger, Took her to Rodeo, she get whatever she want. Fendi, Louis Prada, whatever she want. Like, that song just goes hard, I'm not gonna lie. But the whole album itself, awesome. Chromacopia, another album that I gotta praise. I like this album for sure. I love it. Even I don't have a review for this. I recorded it and everything. I just never went through with finishing it. You know, I had a lot going on at that point. It was an over-ambitious project on my part, everything I was trying to do with it. So I ended up scrapping it, taking a break for a while. I like this album. I would even say I love this album. Hasn't had the most replay value for me. And that even goes back to when it came out. You know, there was some songs I was bumping, like Thought I Was Dead, Noid, the intro track, which I'm forgetting the name of. That song's awesome, but do I really go back to this like a lot right now? Nah, I gotta be honest. And I still respect everything Tyler did here. I think this is a great and deeply personal album. Maybe not his most accessible work yet. And I still love a lot of the tracks here. And there's also just some that haven't resonated with me. You know, some of his most emotional tracks, like Him, for example. I mean, man, that damn near brought me to tears the first time I heard it. I mean, that shit was crazy. But, yeah, it's a light 8 for me. Got it hanging out with the Auditorium. Chaos is my ladder, too. Ransom and Conway the Machine collab album. This was forgettable. Like, I like Conway. I like Ransom. Just, not a lot I'm going back to here. Children of the Scorned by Jaking the Divine. This was an awesome album. I'm going to throw it right under Almighty So 2, personally. I could honestly probably throw it into 8. I just, again, it doesn't have the most replay value for me. This is more of an album you listen to, you understand its greatness. I mean, the lyrical potency here is awesome. The societal commentary here is awesome. I convinced myself I'm gonna champion it a little more up to 8 because it is truly an amazing album with just super deep themes. I would heavily recommend this if you haven't heard it. Jack King the Divine is one of the best rappers out. Coyote by Tommy Richmond. This was a 4. There was one there was actually some really interesting aesthetics going on. It just didn't all blend together the best. I didn't end up coming back to it a whole lot, but I did enjoy a lot of the aesthetics, a lot of the singing. It was interesting. The Crossroads, man, talk about a rapper who I'm waiting for to really excel at their full potential on a whole album, like I talked about with Kenny Mason. Because Cordae, really, he killed it here. There was some great fucking songs on this album. Amazing features. I actually revisit a lot of the tracks on this album. Just like, I don't know. This album felt like it was missing a certain something. I don't know how to explain it. Because there are some songs I don't like the Anderson .Paak song on this album was underwhelming as hell to me. A couple other songs I don't revisit. Let me pull the track list up because the 2 songs with Lil Wayne I loved. Back on the Road and the original single. Oh my god. Man, I don't want this video to be crazy long, but I do just want to make sure I'm talking about the right track. So you got an amazing track on here that Cordae really raps about, like growing up with his mom trying to be a singer. '06 Dreamin', I believe. That was awesome. Summer Drop I didn't care for. Mad as Fuck is a banger that I listen to a lot. Same with Never See It. That song is really, the chorus is stupid. The chorus is fucking stupid, yo, but it's a fucking just gritty 3-6 style banger. The way she put it in her throat, you wouldn't. Listen, hey. But then Cordae's just laying down great verses. Saturday Mornings was awesome. No Bad News I didn't care for. Shea Faney was awesome. Same with What Really Matters. Syrup Sandwiches was underwhelming. Oh my god. And then even 210s, I wasn't crazy about. Both those songs, not '06 Dreamin' you got, and Saturday Mornings in particular, was really Cordae showing his true potential, really flexing his nuts. He just didn't bring that energy the whole album. It felt a little inconsistent at points, but I think that was the point. I feel like similar to Alligator Bites Never Heal, Cordae's just trying to give you a sample of all the different bags he can get into and how skilled he is, because he's fucking awesome. And I did like this album a lot. I revisited a good bit. I know he's got more in the tank though. We all know he's got more in the tank, let's be honest. Drop 7 by Little Sims. I gotta say, this is the only time I've really been underwhelmed by a Sims project. I love her. Lotus was awesome. Sometimes I might be Introvert. The album that came out after that I'm forgetting the name of, my apologies, Little Sims, because I love that one too, though. The one where the album cover is her face. Drop 7, though. Or maybe this is Drop, I think it's Drop 7. I could have done without it. It's just a completely different vibe than a lot of the other stuff she does, and it didn't resonate with me. Not bad or anything, just maybe not for me. Dark Times by Vince Staples. Oh yeah. This is going up there for me. Just look at the year the West Coast had. Just even so far, in 8 and 9, more than half of the albums are West Coast artists right now. But yeah, Dark Times was just awesome. Vince Staples really got in his writing bag, in his societal commentary bag, in his super personal bag. He was really letting you in. Someone who clearly a lot of their personality that they put through in their music and their interviews and their TV shows. Someone who is a very humorous guy. Someone who copes with humor. Someone who his whole he doesn't give a fuck. He's gangster. And this is really him peeling back the curtain and kind of displaying how he uses those different tropes that as as ways to protect himself, as he feels he can't really display emotion because he'll be taken advantage of, or because it'll make him do something he'll regret, and all these different themes, as well as talking about just how hard it is to grow up in the type of lifestyle and environment he grew up in, and how it really affects the way that you think, the way that you view other people, the way you view life. Short album, but damn, also the instrumentals were awesome, sample choices were awesome. I mean, Vince Staples is really only getting better and better at this point in his career. He had a big big appearance on the game with Summertime '06, but since then he's really been on the upward trend, you know. Daryl by A$AP Ferg. Yo. This might be the most underrated album of last year. I'm going to be honest, I'm really tempted to put it at the top of 7, but nah, I'm putting it bottom of 8 because, I mean, this again is just like a deeply personal album where Ferg is touching on his come up, things that he experienced as a child and growing up the way he did that, like, fully changed and shaped the person he is and how the negative and positive effects on that. He's really pulling back the curtain, and I think because Ferg just hasn't been, like, mainstream popping in a while, because he hasn't been mainstream popping, that audience didn't really tune into it, but also, like, the kind of, like, hip-hop heads maybe overlooked him, you know? The hip-hop heads, they're checking for these guys and these guys, right? But A$AP Ferg kind of falls in that middle ground where, like, he's more notable for the hits he's had, but he really, like, low-key. On the low-key, he's not, like, just a trap artist. This wasn't a trap album at all. And there was also a lot of innovative production aesthetics brought in, like, on the introduction track, like... Daryl is awesome. I heavily recommend this album if you haven't heard it. Man, I forget the name of this, but I know this is that Larry June album that came out last year. Underwhelming. I don't go back to it. I do like Larry June, but I really prefer his work with The Alchemist. I feel like that puts him in a different type of atmosphere. There was nothing off of this album that I can't even remember the name of that came back to me. It wasn't bad at all. I just didn't care for it. Dirty Nachos by Chief Keef and Mike Will Made It. This is kind of in a similar bag to that where, like, the bangers, like, it goes hard, but none of it resonates with me. There's a couple singles I liked on there, but again, like, it's just, like, it was missing that, like, personality, you know? Alright, Eternal to Take 2. We can throw this into 2. I mean, that's why 2 is here, because this shit sucked. I mean, this shit sucked. Again, I forgot this album even happened. That's how forgettable it was. Everybody Can't Go. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to go bottom of 7 or top of 8, because the thing is, I think that this is better. Actually, you know what? No, I don't know if I think it's better than Almighty So 2. I hold Almighty So 2 in pretty high esteem, and this album has really fucking great highlights, like the title track, like Braun. But there are also some tracks I'm not that crazy about. You get the song with Snoop Dogg, you get the song with Peasy. I think some of that knocks it down, but I do really like this album. Another album that I feel like was pretty slept on last year, and I mean slept on by, like, the community that would appreciate it. You know, Benny the Butcher is usually championed by underground rap fans. I did not see this project or Benny get a lot of love and respect last year, when this was an amazing outing. It just had a couple of song choices, maybe feature choices as well, that just kind of blew the load for me, you know? Faith of a Mustard Seed. This had one of the most amazing Young Thug performances on a song I think I've ever heard, but that's about it, you know? It's a mid-album to me. This Lucky album, I forget the name of, did not care for it at all. I don't really like Lucky that much, not my thing. Now, Glorilla. This album, I was honestly I'm going to go high 6. This might be the highest 6 you see all day. I'm really tempted to put it in 7, but Big Glow is underrated, man. She's, like, really underrated. She doesn't just, like, she doesn't just have, like, club bangers like What You Know About Me with Sexy Red, which I love that song. That's kind of what she's known for, but the intro on here is awesome, as well as the outro. She gets super personal on some of these songs. There's soulful production. She's letting you know the type of person she is. And that's one thing that I really liked about this album. She was very much just, like, authentic throughout this project. Another album I'd recommend listening if you haven't heard before. Where y'all think I'm going with GNX? I mean, come on, yo. This was the perfect blend, the perfect intersection of, like, Kendrick and his conscious, like, societal commentary bag where, like... Actually, no. That's not what I want to say. This is the perfect intersectionality of, like, introspective Kendrick when we talk about, like, Gloria and The Heart Part 6. And Kendrick just being a fucking, like... just being the guy we always knew he could, you know? Even Tupac had songs like, man, that's gonna sound bad that I forgot it. Man, you know, I feel bad messing up the song because I don't listen to it a lot, but it is like that, like the Tupac song, California Love. You know what I mean? Tupac was known for his introspection, his societal commentary, stuff like that. But he still had California Love, which was an all-time banger. I mean, I love that song. I'm not going to lie. I apologize that I whiffed on the name, but I do love that song. The GNX is like how I feel about that kind of, where like he's having the amazing tracks here, like Gloria, Reincarnated, The Heart Part 6, that I go back to all the time, but also songs I go back to all the time. Not the title track, GNX. But you got to talk about the intro, which is awesome. You got to talk about Squabble Up, which is awesome. You got to talk about Peekaboo, which is awesome. Like Luther, holy shit, man. I mean, this album is great because Kendrick really just proved everyone wrong. That was the biggest narrative, one of the biggest narratives going through that Drake and Kendrick beef is, oh, like, Kendrick could beat Drake, but Drake's still going to have it going up at the club. But nah, Not Like Us showed us that that's not true. And then GNX, a lot of this album was him really, like, solidifying, like, nah, he could get down like that when he wants to. And he didn't do it on no rage or, like, I mean, Luther's kind of melodic, but that was more of an R&B throwback cut. But he showed it that he could do it on his own terms. He didn't have to conform to, like, popular rap trends right now and, you know, like, bring in Travis Scott or Cardi or whatever to get a huge fucking buzz or hit. He did it on his own terms with the type of music he wants to make, honoring the place that he's from. And I mean, yeah, there's one song on this album that really is a letdown when we're talking about the title track, but everything else is just damn near perfect. I mean, I love this album. Y'all might get in the comments and say, oh, glaze, 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 and I'm going to quote Professor Sky's record reviews. I'll glaze greatness, because this album is great. I mean, it's just a perfect, like I said, perfect intersection between these two things that Kendrick is known for. Him proving the haters wrong, him getting the club up. Hatton Gordon Hold Up. This was Derringer and Rome Streets. I like this album. I like Rome Streets a lot. He's got a great rapping style. I don't revisit a lot, but there's no doubt that that was great. Hood Poet by Polo G. That album really let me down as a long-time Polo G supporter. Haven't been the biggest fan of his in a long time, you know, since like since Hall of Fame really, but I was still holding out hope that he could do it. Hardstone Psycho, let's talk about another album that I have a pretty lengthy review for on this channel. I think I initially rated it at a 7 in that review. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. This is still a really impressive Don Toliver album. But, like, Don Toliver has to be one of the most, like, empty songwriters in, like, musical history. He really relies on his singing ability, the auto-tune, the aesthetics, as well as features, because when you really like break down his lyrics, they're like on the same level as Lil Uzi Vert. They're bad, yo. They're not just bad, they're recycled all the time. The most basic, but you also got tracks on here like Glock, like Birds in the Trunk, they gonna sing about a fucking Hardstone Psycho. He had bangers on here. This was a big moment for Don's career. You know, that's another thing I champion about it is like the album Lovesick was really a letdown. It was a lot of people were like, all right, Don's clipped. This was a big comeback for him. Not only did he have like bangers that were charting on the Billboard Hot 100, like he didn't just have like commercial success, but he put together an album that even if like it is like completely vapid and empty in terms of any substantial content, like that is true, but what is also true is like kind of like with the Yeet album with 2093, like the aesthetic consistency is awesome, you know, and the production's good at a lot of points. I Lay Down My Life For You. JPEG Mafia is someone who it's taken me a little bit to really connect with, but this album, I'm going to put it below Dark Times, but that could really change because I honestly do revisit this album more than Dark Times right now. And it's just because, like, man. JPEG Mafia is someone that I've doubted, someone I've given my fair share of criticism to. this is the best album he's put out. It's just the most complete, you know. It feels the most finished, the most polished. And I know some people like that vibe, the kind of unpolished, gritty, unorthodox. And I like that shit too, but this is a good blend of him bringing his unorthodox, innovative production styles and actually doing really impressive raps with it. That's been one of my bigger JPEG criticisms, is that his rapping isn't always up to par with his production, and here he really stepped it up. Pretty much every track on here is great. I mean, I don't know if The Drugs was kind of like an underground like song that got very popular in terms of just like that got very popular in terms of like the community that was in it, and actually it got some even mainstream notoriety. And that was just the best showcase of what JPEG is doing on this album in terms of the songwriting. This track was cohesive. It had a point. The sample was fucking awesome. He sampled a AI generated version of like a 60s soul version of Future song "Turn on the Lights" and then sampled it. Like, that's kind of crazy. And he used it to write one of his most beautiful, heartfelt tracks of his career. I mean, I Lay My Life Down For You was really like, it really impressed me. I'm actually talking about it right now. It makes me want to listen to it again soon. I'm going to go add it to my album queue after this video. We're going to talk about a couple misses now. We have the original Insano by Kid Cudi and then Nitro Mega. Both of these really just fucking blew out the bed. This was Kid Cudi trying to appeal to the youth, trying to, you know, re-ingratiate himself into the culture gracefully, and it just could not have went worse. I mean, both of these shits sucked, dude. They were just really bad. I love Kid Cudi too. I hate to sound like a hater, but this shit, it's not even me hating. This shit was just bad, yo. I have very few positives to say about either, and I'm just gonna leave it there. In Sexy We Trust, this was an underwhelming album to me, following up her Hood's Hottest Princess. I actually did enjoy that album and a lot of the tracks there. This, she dropped the ball a little bit. You My Everything with Drake is a really annoying song. Yeah, just not the biggest fan. It's Sauce Volume 1 by Lil Yachty. Man, why does Lil Yachty put so much effort into this label of his, bro? I mean, the like side tangent right now, but Yachty's got to get his own career straight. Like, look, you look at that album he had with James Blake. That was a flop, dude. No one talks about that shit. I remember some people talking about, oh, album of the year, but that energy was not there 2 months later, man. I mean, nobody is talking or even listening to this shit nowadays, man. And Yachty, Let's Start Here was cool. It was a good, refreshing thing for him, but like, worry about your own career, bro. Because all these rappers on his label, like, they suck, dude. And again, I'm going to get called a hater. But, like, it's not like Yachty is not the growth and talent development guy, bro. He needs to develop and grow his own talent first. You know what I'm saying? He's not fucking, like, someone like West Side Gun who could get a bunch of youngins going. Well, he's still in his rap career because he knows how to, like, point out talent. He knows how to fucking, like, rap and write and be unique. Like, Yachty is just... And Let's Start Here feels like an exception because the rest of his career, Yachty is just a trend rider. Anyways, Johann Sebastian Baklava, the Doctor. I do have a lot of enjoyment from Action Bronson. I've really enjoyed the run he was on up to this album. This kind of let me down a little bit, to be completely honest. It wasn't like terrible garbage, oh, this sucks. Like, it's a good album. It just had no memorability. You know, not Yachty, fucking Action Bronson is normally, like, what I go to him for is his one-liners, his beautiful production. And there was good productions on here, but none of it really, like, blew my mind. You had, again, some great quotables, good references, but again, nothing that really I was like, oh, you know, when I listen to an Action Bronson album, I like my jaw to be on the floor over a bar, he said, which happened when I was listening to, man, Cocodrilo Turbo. That album was awesome, and I love that. This is still good, but it has, like, zero replay value for me, but it's not bad, you know, it's just not memorable. King of the Mischievous South, Volume 2. Man, I don't know where to put this because I feel like I partially kind of just ran my enjoyment for this album into the ground because of how much I listened to it. You know what I mean? I was nonstop bumping this when it came out. But I could go right here with it because I still listen to so many songs on it. It's just the other ones I'm kind of tired of. It's not even I think they're bad, but I mean this was just a perfect. All right, that's what I'm saying. I have a full album review on this. Go check it out if you want. I do love King of the Mischievous South. I think it's one of the best things Denzel's done with his career. So please go check out my review. And at this point in the video, let me know what you're thinking so far in the comments. Let me know what type of other ranking videos you want to see from me in the comment section below. Please. I love doing these. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying it recently. And yeah, you know, I got a 90s tier list that I'm going to do soon. Maybe after this we work backwards. I think 2021 would be the most recent year I haven't done a tier list for. Maybe I do that. Anyways, we got Lana by SZA. This was the deluxe to SOS. Completely different vibe. There was a lot of good tracks here. It felt a lot more loose, which is not a bad thing at all. But it did lead to me not enjoying it as much just because, I mean, you know, it's a deluxe album, let's be honest. So when it's very rarely that ends up being better than the original, especially when the original was SOS. But there are some great tracks we got. Here's Scorsese, Baby Daddy. Oh, man, I don't remember the name. I'm going to look this up because this is one of my favorite SZA songs, actually. I think it's In Another Life. I just want to make sure this is not what I'm looking for. Oh, my God. So, I think it's In Another Life. Cry Baby is also a good song on here. 30 for 30, of course, you can't go wrong with that. BMF, Love Me For Me. Yeah, Another Life. I mean, that's just oh my God, some of SZA's best singing ever. But, alright, yeah, there's actually a lot of great tracks on here. BMF as well, just hard to not have that melody in your head. I could put it over Haddon Garden. Hold Up. Love the Ominous World. I'm trying to remember the name because this is Blue and Exile, man. One of the most underrated duos of all time. Heavily recommend you check this album out. If you've never heard of Blue, he is one of the best lyricists on the planet. One of the best rappers on the planet. You got to check this out, man. They were him and Exile, the producer. They originally got popping in 2007. This was a huge return to form for them. I mean, this was just awesome. The instrumentals were great. Blue said, like, keeping his raps refreshing. He has a great song on here rapping about how he almost got signed to death row, or how he tried to, I guess. And it's just the storytelling is great. A lot of albums I'm advocating for you listening to on here, but this and Daryl, Love the Ominous World and Daryl have to be like the two that I'm most like, hey, you gotta listen to this shit. Maybe Glorious by Glorilla would be a close third. Lifestyle by Yeat. The magic that Yeat had going for him on 2093, he lost it. I didn't like listening to this album. Might Delete Later, an album that I have a review for that I think is honestly like pretty overhated. Like, it's not great, it's not perfect by any measure of the imagination, but it's fun. You know, it's fun. J. Cole's having fun here. And there's a good amount of tracks I revisit. And you also have a song like Pricey and like Trade the Truth and Ibiza. Those are two of J. Cole's best songs in recent memory. I mean, those are just both fucking awesome rapping performances. Mixtape Pluto. I might have a review for this album. I don't remember if I do or not. Underwhelming, dude. I mean, I really wanted to like love this album to say that Future like successfully did the three-peat, but you know, there is not a lot I'm revisiting to it these days. Mr. Ski by La Tyler. You know, I checked this out because La Tyler got like a good amount of clout online for a period of time, and I was thoroughly impressed with this album. He's just got a unique flow, like funny punchlines. He's a young kid, so I'm sure he'll develop with time. But Mr. Ski, it had some moments. I didn't dislike it. One of One. This album was mid to me. I just didn't. Hakuna Matata goes hard. I like that, but like I just don't really care for anything else on there. Pinball, Mike and Tony Seltzer. I know the sequel to this came out recently. I'm excited to listen to that because this album is good. This album is. I'm not like the craziest fan of Mike, but there are songs here I like listen to and I like them. And yeah, I'm glad that they did more of it, because Mike's other stuff kind of hard for me to get into, to be honest. I've listened to, I think, Burning Desire. I do like that album. I respect it. It's not my favorite thing ever, though. So I do enjoy this more like lighthearted type of vibe. Piece by Piece for Pharrell. I kind of just included this to have more albums on the list, because this isn't like a real like new thing. There's old songs on here. This is like a movie soundtrack. Yeah, man, there were like good songs included on this. It's just like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. It's just a soundtrack for a movie that I didn't end up seeing. Paisley Dreams. This is The Game, Big Hit, and Hit Boy. This was like a fine album. I haven't revisited it. It came out like literally January 2024. I haven't revisited it at all, but it was a good album. You got The Game and Big Hit, who are great rappers, great production. Just not memorable. Please Don't Cry by Rhapsody. Another like really like top of the line album from last year. Very personal effort from Rhapsody. I gotta say, she's really in her bag with this one. There's great songs on here. Stand Tall, Asteroids, Raw. Some of my favorites. It would definitely, again, another one I'm recommending for sure. Rhapsody's one of the best and most underrated rappers out there. Personification by Maxo Cream. I'm a fan of Maxo Cream. His previous couple records I think were great. This one, and maybe it's because I didn't give it a whole lot of time of day. I listened to it once at the gym, but underwhelming to me. There's maybe one or two tracks I got saved to my gym playlist, but I didn't think it was anything great. I didn't think it was anything offensive. Just kind of Perfect Fantasy by Earthang. This is a really good album. It's hard for me to rate it like crazy high, just because it is like 10 of the songs in here were like previously released through 2 separate EPs, so it's like you're listening to it and it's like, all right, not a lot of this is even new music, but the aesthetics here are awesome. I'm a big fan, big advocator of Earthgang. It's not their best work for sure. They got several albums that are better, but I still really enjoy their songs I go back to here. And like the EP that they included, Rip Human Art, was one of my favorites of that year. I forget if it came out end of 2023 or beginning of 2024, but that EP is like awesome. If you got Die Today on there, oh man, listen. If you want to get into Earthgang, listen to the Rip Human Art EP, and then that whole EP is in Perfect Fantasy. Plan A by Lil Tecca. This album really underwhelmed me. It wasn't bad at all, just like forgettable. I still got to listen to the new Tecca album, Dopamine. I've heard it's better than that, and I'm excited to listen to it. Tecca is someone I used to hate. I came around. I really like him. Or I really liked his album, Tech. I thought that was like a really great pop rap album. This, Plan A, kind of fell off quality-wise and memorability-wise. And now Dopamine's getting that same treatment. The song Dark Thoughts is cool. Awa Awa is cool. So we'll see if that one speaks to me maybe a little more than Plan A. Then we got this other Boldy James and Nicholas Craven album. I'm just going to throw this in the 6 because, to be honest, I just don't even remember. Like I said, their stuff got kind of forgettable to me over time. This is a T Grizzly album. This is the one that Blow for Blow with J. Cole was on. I did listen to this whole project. Kind of forgettable. Like, it wasn't bad at all. Just not a lot I was going to go back to. I do like T Grizzly, though. Slim Air 2, Young Nudie, and Pierre Bourne. Considering how good the original was, this album did disappoint me. I didn't think it was bad. Again, just kind of forgettable. Which is going to be the case for a lot of, as you can see, that's kind of what the 5 slot is for. Just good album. So just like inoffensive albums that were very forgettable. Or something like fucking the Big Sean album, which was just like a lot of really quality stuff and a lot of just bad stuff. Samurai by Lupe Fiasco. Yo, I love Samurai. It's one of my most listened albums of last year. The vibes are just immaculate. If you haven't listened to that album, go do yourself a favor, please. Stabbed and Shot 2 by Benny the Butcher and 38 Special. This is why I say Benny had a good year last year, because you had Everybody Can't Go, which was awesome. This was like slightly not as good, but still had great tracks and super memorable, worth it to listen to project. You also had Summertime Butch. Now, this album I didn't like that much. This was just a kind of underwhelming, kind of like a just standard Benny the Butcher rap. So it wasn't doing anything like original or like world crushing, world shaking. But I did still think it was more good than bad. Slant Face Killer by Conway the Machine, I kind of have on the same vibe as Summertime Butch, where like it was just underwhelming in the sense where it was just Conway doing the Conway thing. And there are a lot of albums out of Conway doing the Conway thing. Although the track with Stove God Cooks Muddy, that track is crazy. That's the only track I really go back to here. But yeah, that's an awesome song, Muddy. Michael and the Mighty Midnight Revival, Songs for Sinners and Saints. This album kind of acted as like a extension of Michael. It's the same like by Killer Mike, is the same era. There's some remixes on here. So obviously it wasn't bad, but it's just kind of forgettable. It wasn't something I listened to like more than once. Nothing I really took from it. And it wasn't on the same level as like a seriousness as Michael in my opinion. But had a lot of similar aesthetics. There were some remixes on the similar topical matter. So if you really like Michael, like I did, you could definitely like this album. Maybe I just owe it another shot, but it didn't do anything crazy for me. Snake Gang. This was another EP by Earth Gang. Now this one was not on the Perfect Fantasy. This was like This was actually like with I think Snake Ships, which I guess is like a DJ or a group of DJs, and this was like a very like bouncy like club type of project. And they were actually. I enjoyed the songs on here because it was just like Earth Gang rapping over like a very just like club type instrumentals. It was a really cool thing to see. Shadowbox by Mavi. This is an album that I owe more time to. Like, this is an album, I listened to it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is deep. The lyricism, the songwriting is deep. It's awesome. And I haven't listened to it much outside of that. But when I did listen, I thought it was awesome. I think it's a fucking great album. I think Mavi is a super special talent. Just maybe needs a little more TLC from me in terms of appreciating it. You know what I'm saying? It's still at 8, so no complaints on that from him, I would hope. Sugar Honey Iced Tea by Lotto. This album was kind of underwhelming to me. Not anything I really went back to. I feel bad. She had that song Blixum, which there was all the hype that there was going to be a Cardi feature. Then the Cardi feature didn't come out, and then it came out like literally a year later. I just feel bad for Lotto because that Cardi feature, like Playboy Cardi, of course, really would have helped elevate her higher up in her career. She was kind of riding on that. Cardi didn't clear it till like fucking 9 months later. So weird. Cardi's a weird guy sometimes. Soul Burger. This is the #1 album right here that I'm going to advocate for you to listen to. It's currently in my top 5 for last year. We'll see if it stays there. I mean, Samurai could get in there too, to be honest. Maybe over Dark Times. I don't know. But Soul Burger is just like so much personality. Maybe I'm a glazer. 4 of these albums, 4 of this top 5 right here is TDE related, TDE adjacent. 4 of it is West Coast. Anyways, that's just how I'm feeling about it right now. But Soul Burger is one of the albums that like I've revisited the most the last couple months. It's just like, it's not a perfect album. There are a couple of lulls, but man, it's just such a cool concept where you got like Absol really like dedicating this album to his good friend Doe Burger that passed away, and he's kind of rapping about their relationship and their friendship in so many different ways, and like using all these great allusions to show how like how powerful their friendship was. He's also got bangers on here. He's one of the best lyricists in the game, and this album is one of the best displays of that. So please give it a listen. We're getting down towards the end. I forget the name of this West Side Gun album, to be honest. I liked it, but I did find it sort of underwhelming for his standards. It wasn't my favorite thing. We got this, this was a Peasy album, right? Was this Peasy? I don't even remember. I listened to this at the gym. It was pretty hype, but it's like some Detroit type rap, which I like, but there's not like anything crazy is going on. Set the Tone by Ghostface Killah. This album is slept on. This album is slept on, A lot of people hate on like this album I see online, but I like seeing Ghostface Killah do these like pop rap type of tracks. They're not like the craziest things ever. Or some of these are just like straight up sound like tropical vacation tracks, and some of them is gritty fucking not just gritty coke rap. Like when you talk about like I think 6 Hammers with Method Man, that track's awesome. You got the song with Kanye, which is awesome, which has that awesome Jackson 5 sample. And Ghostface Killah's been in the game long enough that, and I feel this is how I felt as well with like some of the tracks I might delete later with a song like Fever. These guys are vets. They're like rappers who will be remembered for decades to come for the output that they put into this game, for how they changed the rap game. If they want to like have fun and take it light on a couple of tracks on an album, on a less so like Ghostface Killer does not need to drop a magnum opus at this point in his career, dog. It's been 30 years. He's given us, or at least in my opinion, he gave me several really quality tracks on here that I go back to. This album was consistently good. If he wants to have fun on a few tracks, yo, fucking let him. I think it was Skate with Raekwon. That I love that song too. Like, just let him vibe, yo. I like that album a lot. Take Care by Big X The Plug, yo. This album was awesome, yo. Genuinely one of the best trap albums of last year. I was truly impressed with this. This was the only Big X The Plug album I've heard so far. It really, really impressed me. I like the sound he's got. The Death of Slim Shady. I did a whole review for this album on this channel. It's very lengthy. Feel free to check it out, because I have a lot to say about this project. I'm not going to say it here. If you're interested, go listen to the review. The Genuine Articulate by The Alchemist. I actually like this project a lot as well. You're getting some rapping from The Alchemist. I like that. Another person where, again, hey, he deserves that at this point in his career. If he wants to rap and have fun, he does some great rapping. The Kid That Did by Babyface Ray. Underwhelming project, man. I'm a big advocate for Babyface Ray. Nothing I'm revisiting here. This album was not that. If you want a good project from him, go listen to Face, his album from a few years ago. Texas Technician by That Mexican OT. I decided to listen to this to see what that OT was about while he was popping this year, and because I loved his verse on Black Flag by Denzel Curry. It's cool. He's got cool verses, cool songs, but the whole album, it's not like not anything I'm really going to revisit. He's another guy. He's got great songs and verses that I love, but I don't know if he'll ever be an album guy for me. Ultra 85 by Logic. This album is fucking sick. This might be Logic's best album. There's just some high-quality raps and lyricism and production all throughout this whole album. Production is maybe like the biggest struggle for Logic in terms of putting together a great album. And like this one in particular is just, it all comes together here. I really love Ultra 85. I don't listen to it a lot because I'm not the biggest Logic fan, but I was super impressed after I heard that. You Made Me a Star by Four Bats. This guy, he already fell off at this point. I mean, this album was cool. It wasn't anything super impressive, but dude literally already fell off. Now we got We Don't Trust You. This was one of my top albums of last year. I don't listen to it as much, so it's taking a bit of a fall off on this 8, where like maybe 6-8 months ago would have been in this area. Really great Future album. I think I have a review on that album. If I do have one, go watch it if you want to see my thoughts. Maybe I'll do a different video talking about it if I don't. This Anderson .Paak and No Worries project was great. Again, just doesn't have the most replay value for me. We Still Don't Trust You. Really good album. I like the vibes. There are a lot of tracks I go back to on here. It's not the best thing ever, though. And last but not least, You Only Die Once by Freddie Gibbs. This album was awesome. Again, another super slept on album that I think is great and I think deserves a lot of our respect and admiration. Freddie proved he doesn't need a major producer to do it. I thought the instrumentals on here were awesome. But yeah, that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it all the way through, like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know in the comments what you think about this ranking, what type of rankings and videos you want to see next. I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for coming, and have a great rest of your day. Peace!